Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. Kevin, breaking news. That's what we like on Redvee TV. You might see it in the headline, but the big news is Lee Briers is back at St Helens for the 2025 season as assistant coach on a 2-year contract. Listen, I think we've all known about it for an awful long time, but it's really good to see it confirmed that he is returning to the UK for a big club on the eve of playing the small little club that he went and spent most of his career at.
Can't resist it, can you? Can't resist it, despite what could happen on the
Well,
field.
Kev, as I said last night, San Marino, they've won more competitive football matches in the last 25 years than Warrington have won championships, and that is one. How bad must it feel being a Warrington fan when you see San Marino being able to celebrate like that and you're still waiting?
Have you quite finished?
Yeah, I'm just getting them out the way so they can all clear off.
Yeah, fair enough.
No more rinsing yet.
It'll get the clicks in the first couple of minutes, and then it'll die off now when we start talking about Lee Briers. It looks on paper to be a good bit of recruitment by the club. I think Wigan fans were very, very, or thought very highly of him when he went over to Brisbane. I know they've not done as well this year, but I think they went close, didn't they, last year? They did quite well. So he's going to bring, hopefully, and it says in the interview that he's done, the entertainment back. Because as much as we can go and win games, sometimes I think Saints fans want to be entertained as well. And I think this day and age, when you're trying to sell season tickets, when you're trying to sell just match tickets, when you're trying to get money into the club, you want bums on seats, you want faces in the ground. And hopefully this is the first step in doing that. Yeah,
listen, we're well aware that despite all the mitigating circumstances and reasons why it hasn't been a great season visually to watch, and when those season ticket renewals go out over the next month or two, fans want reasons to renew, don't they? And you have to say, Mike Rush, Eamon McManus, the board of the club have done their job. We've as Eamon's statement said a number of weeks ago, they've identified where they can strengthen the coaching team. Lee Briers is coming in. They've identified where we can improve the playing squad, which, listen, we could all see. And we've made a number of signings. So next season, we are going to have essentially a transformed team, you hope.
Yeah, you hope so. I know we're going to speak about another one of our signings that's coming shortly, but I think while I know I've mentioned a collective responsibility for how we find ourselves this year, that our recruitment wasn't great. Our playing style hasn't been good. I know we've had a lot of injuries. I know we've had a lot of suspensions. Then that falls on the players, the suspensions bit. But to try and fix things up with this recruitment and starting off with Lee Briers here, it just shows that while you might not necessarily hear stuff out the club in the early season, you know, when other clubs are making signings, it doesn't mean that no work's going on behind the scenes. And I think Saints always prefer to kind of do their work quietly. And then, we've known about this for a while, but it's done. And people are just want it announcing for that bit of good news, but work is always going on in the background.
I always get the impression that the hierarchy of the club, they're not about big jazzy announcements. As long as they know the work is done and the players are going to be there for the following season, there doesn't seem to be a big rush to get things out and get them announced. And sometimes things aren't announced because although they're going to happen, they're not signed, sealed, delivered, and ours.
Yeah, very good. I enjoyed that one.
But that is the case sometimes. And listen, we all hear rumours and the names frequently come to fruition. But there's quite a few people who have been named as coming to Saints and never actually materialise. And people are demanding, why haven't we announced Corey Oates? Why haven't we announced Kevin Nagame? Why haven't we announced Josiah Kapani, is it? Because maybe they're not happening. Maybe your sources aren't very good. Maybe you're a journalist scouring forums for exclusives to put behind a paywall to generate clicks. Until you actually see the club announce things, or you see reliable journalists like Aaron Bauer, Matt Shaw put things out there, which generally come true, don't always believe what you read.
Yeah.
Unless you read it on Redvee, where we put on Twitter, heard a little rumour that a certain winger's coming to Saints.
Well,
heard Kevin Nagama's not signing for us.
But we're not here to necessarily be in the know anymore. I think that was a previous iteration of the website that was news rather than opinion.
And to be fair, Kev, I think you're going back about 15, 16 years there.
Yeah. Long before I was ever involved in anything with it. It's not what we do, but when we put something out there, so like, and we're going to move on to in a minute, the Lis Murphy stuff, it's because we had 4 or 5 different people come up to us, messages from different groups, all saying, we've heard this. So you just put it out there. We're not saying, oh my God, this is 100% happening. It's already done. We're saying, this is what we've heard.
And you know what? The actual wording of that tweet when it went out was, heard murmurings around the ground tonight, was 100% true. And listen, if somebody came up to me and said, categorically, we've seen somebody sign for Saints, I've seen the contract signed ourselves, the first thing I'm not going to go and do, or you're going to go and do, is run onto Twitter to be wanting to be the first, to be the big I am, to give the breaking news out. Because guess what? You're probably not going to get told anything again. Or in the future, people are going to feed you bull.
Yeah, very true.
Our job, or what we try to do with Redvee, is provide fan opinion, fan review, fan analysis. That's us.
Yeah, based on stuff that's already happened. In the case of Lee Briers signing, Tristan Saylor signing, Kyle Felt signing. I'm not going to start necessarily going on about people who, like Josiah Karapani, if he does sign, we're not going to start doing something about him beforehand, because what's the point?
The best part is we're not actually in the know. We know people generally who can be in the know, but it's not us. Nobody comes to me and tells me.
That's the best.
But yeah,
I think that's for the best.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got better things to do with my life than blag 10 million names around the internet. There we go. Leave that to the paywall journos.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know what? We've had to put this in at last minute because we've spoiled it now, because we were going to lead off with Lis Murphy coming to Saints.
Yeah.
It's almost like old news now.
Yeah. You know what, though? I think that if Saints fans had been able to have the chance of signing him when Regan Grace went, I think everybody would have been happy with that. As it is, he went over, tested himself over in Australia. Injuries haven't necessarily helped him, and hopefully he's over them and can string together a good range of appearances for Saints. But again, this is another one that on paper is a very exciting signing.
In terms of how we're trying to build the team for next season, are we going back to so you got Kyle Felt, who's going to be your Tommy Makinson in terms of being able to make some hard yards, bringing the ball out from our own line, but being that natural try scorer, finisher on the left-hand side. And listen, might not be, and I think Tommy Mason would be the same. Has never been blessed with the blistering pace, but knows how to get himself into space and into the positions to score.
Yeah, it's quick enough. Yeah,
and then you're going to have Lis Murphy on the other wing, who is going to be your Regan Grace in terms of speedster, excitement, capable of going the length of the field, but also a finisher. And you can see what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And I think, again, I'm very mindful of pressure being put on players. I know Lewis has played some Super League and he's been over in Australia, but we've got to let the lad settle back over here and give him his chance. We want to see him. We want to see that blistering pace back in the side. We want to see speed in our backs. I think we've made 3 good signings though, which do give us pace. Yeah, you can argue. I'm not seeing much of Kyle Felt. I'm not seeing much of Tristan Saylor, but Tristan Saylor's also not made a load of NRL appearances for me to go back and watch clips after clips after clips like Kyle Felt. But it just feels like we're putting together a good, strong backline there that will still allow your young players to get game time when needed, because hopefully we find ourselves in a position where next year we don't have to flog Kyle lads a goal, because you've got enough experience around them. You can give the likes of Owen Dagnall a run, Deon Sambu a run, maybe Harry Robertson gets a run on the wing. Because I go back again to, were you playing him? Well, you know what? He's made a couple of errors in the past couple of weeks, made a couple against Huddersfield. But he's learning, and you've got to expect these. And if he goes out and does the Jack Wellesby job of playing out on the wing, playing in the centres, getting to know the backline, I think that will go really well for him. As I say, because we're putting together a good first choice backline here, it will allow you then to be able to dip your youngsters in and take them out when they need to be protected.
If there is a question mark over Lis Murphy, it's obviously his injuries, isn't it? His time at Wakefield was cut short by the ACL injury. He's gone over to the NRL, played mostly. Is it New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup, whichever cup you want to play for, but that isn't the NRL. He's had a number of injuries, which has limited his appearances over the last couple of years. So you're quite right in saying not to heap the pressure on him. It could take him 10, 12 games just to get back to the level we need him to be at potentially next year. And I think it's important that fans don't judge him straight away and give him a chance to blend in. I think that the real positive from my point of view is, although they are much needed in the squad, over the last few years, we've signed up an awful lot of utility players who can play in a number of positions. Whereas this time, obviously, the focus is needed to be on the back line, and we've signed specialised players for specialist positions.
I think it's because it's what's needed. We need like specialist wingers. Yeah, I speak about dipping lads in like Owen Dagnall, centre winger. Harry Robertson can seemingly play anywhere from 1 to 7. Where you do need that type of player still, and they can learn an awful lot from that. But I think when I saw somebody say it's not Saints' problems, the wings. Well, it is if you've not got 2 specialised first choice Super League level wingers. Lis Murphy's played Super League. Kyle Felt is coming over from the NRL, where he's still, I think he's second top try scorer this season still. We need specialised wingers. You need them in the game. We can't go into it with kind of hodgepodge of a patchwork quilt of backs where you've got 3 centres and a winger playing. You've got to have these specialised players. Your utility backs will always have a place, always. And you may end up getting a starting spot because they are good enough. But when it comes to finishing out wide, you want to see proper wingers wearing 2 and 5.
I think the big thing next season is Paul Wellens is being given the opportunity in 2025. And I think it's important that the club have backed him and they're going to give him every chance to succeed. But with a full squad and the signings we've made, there will have to be drastic improvement next season, or the pressure is on, and as it always should be at Saints.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's obviously still murmurings that people aren't happy that Wello got the 12 months. But because the club has backed him, and then backed him in the case of bringing over Lee Briers, bringing signings in from the NRL, 3 signings from NRL clubs. We've got to see that improvement. We've got to see whoever is out on the field, and I've said this past couple of episodes, whoever's out on that field, you've got to get a tune out of them. Doesn't matter who it is. And the tune might not be quite all the right notes in the right order, but it's got to be better than we've seen over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months even, probably, where our form has fallen off a cliff. There are mitigating circumstances, but you've got to be sending them players out and getting them to play to the best of their ability, because otherwise we'll find ourselves in 12 months' time, we'll be talking about a new head coach here if things don't. And I'm saying this, where are we in the league? 4th, 5th at the minute.
4th.
It's not just about position in the league, it's about the perception of how we play as well. It needs to be a better brand of rugby, because we haven't got the all-conquering pack at the moment. It's not as good as it was a couple of years ago. So you've got to try tweaking and have your plan A, your plan B, your plan C. You've got to have them. Hopefully we bring in Lee Briers in. You can do that.
In terms of the squad for 2025 then, listen, I think the writing's on the wall for Sione Matautia. I think we all agree that he's going. I think that's been, again, what's been the talk of the town for quite a bit, that he isn't going to be here next year. Wonga Blaken hopefully isn't going to be here next year. Conrad Harrell recovering from a serious injury. In terms of the jigsaw of the squad, is it just the centre that we need to bring in?
I think let's be realistic, because people will start saying, well, we need a world-class 7 and we need a centre and we need a forward. I possibly think we need a centre, yeah. Are we going to get a world-class 7, as people say? Well, name me one who's going to come to us. Name me one. Don't say Mikey Lewis, because that isn't going to happen. Never, ever going to happen. Potentially, we still need something in the pack. We've got a lot of young props and we've got quite a bit in the props, but I almost feel like if Sione goes, our second row options don't drop a little bit. Especially with I'd imagine Sam Royal will probably go as well, so that even that option when you're down and you're struggling is going to go. Yeah, we'll promote through, but you think of who we got: Curtis Sirenan, Matt Whitley, Joe Batchelor, James Bell can play there, but you'd rather him at 13. Jake Wingfield can play there, but I think he's more of a prop or 13.
Johnny Vaughan?
So Johnny Vaughan, yeah, potentially. But again, you're not going to, if you needed him to do 20 games, it'd be unfair to ask a young lad to come in and do 20-odd games in a season, I think, with in such a position. So possibly another second rower.
Okay. We'll move on then. Squad news for Wire.
One change, and it is that man there, Jack Wellesby, who comes in for Leon Cowan.
On paper, the squad is getting better.
Yes. Yes, it is. And it should get better and better and better, because I think, as I said last week, we've got Tommy to come back in next time. We've got Mark Percival could come in next time. Darryl Clark could come in next time. Lewis Dodd could come in next time. All adding to your squad. And I think after Huddersfield, I felt when we did the instant fan reaction, I felt like I almost didn't know what to say because there were little bright bits in the game, but overall it still wasn't where we want to be at all, anywhere near at times. So yeah, it's a tough one going into this week, but it does look to be getting slightly better as the weeks go by.
Yeah, I feel, and I hate to say it, given the position we are in the table, but the way the squad is with players coming back, I almost take this week as a little bit of a free hit. And the important thing for me is to not lose anyone to injury and for players to gain match fitness. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Wellsby comes in this week and we take Harry Robertson out and put him into the reserve grand final on Sunday.
Fair enough. It wouldn't surprise me with him being named in the 21 for him to play. I think you've got a couple of options. As you say, you can take Harry Robertson out, and I hate saying that he's making mistakes, but he is doing. I mean, they're there for everybody who watches the game to see. You expect him to make them, and he'll come back from that an awful lot stronger. But he's probably been pitched into more games than Saints would probably like him to have had to be pitched into.
I just wonder, Kevin. We had a conversation last week about George Whitby.
Yeah,
and the feeling was that it was important for him to finish his journey in the reserves and help them get to the grand final and complete that journey, because you can gain so much just by having that little taste of success, can't you? And I just wonder whether we'd like Harry Robertson just to be able to complete that journey as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't two that missed out.
Maybe with Johnny Vaughan as well.
See us. Yeah, I think that possibly the difference with Vaughan is you still need that hooking option. And he was a bundle of energy on Sunday, and do you need that again? So it's almost a case of Vaughan's on the bench, and you bring Jack Wellsby in, so Harry Robertson drops out. Or if Harry Robertson starts the game, could you see Johnny Vaughan dropping out off the bench and us putting Jack Wellsby in the halves, Moses on the bench as a reserve, Moses starting, Jake Burns on the bench as a reserve 9. There's a lot of permutations that you could go there where you could pick a list of about 4 players, Jack Wellsby included, and say they could be on the bench to start the game, and then come in and either reshuffle the backline, which isn't ideal, or you have somebody like Moses and Jake Burns taking turns at 9. The only issue with that is I thought Moses against Huddersfield was one of the standouts. His kicking game was exactly what we needed against Huddersfield. And yeah, I know we didn't quite put him to bed. Well, not quite about it. We didn't put him to bed. We didn't go away and beat him by 20-odd points. But his experience showed there in the house.
Can this team go to Warrington tomorrow and win?
Yeah.
How much pressure would that take off us in the race for 4th if we could?
Oh, let me quantify that by saying, can this team go to Warrington and win? Yes. Do I think they will? Unfortunately not.
No. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. And I think the way we are, we're more than capable of beating anybody on our day, even them, if we play well.
Yeah. But I just want to see an improvement. Yeah. I think week on week, we've got to just start getting better and better, and take that Huddersfield game and take the positives out of it and learn from your negatives. Can we go there and beat them? Yes. Any team on pretty much any day in Super League can go to another team and beat them. Of course they can. I've not seen enough from us for me to, even in the tipping comp that we do, even think anything but a Warrington win.
Yeah. Warrington squad then, Kev.
Yeah, only one change for these as well. Max Wood comes in place of Paul Vaughan, who was suspended.
Which is a bonus for us.
It is. They've got
and a
him and
bonus for the
James Harrison.
sunbed shops of Warrington.
They've got him and James Harrison, who they're starting from was both out. They've also got Matt Duffy out, but that Taylor Ray, who's come in, who's shared fullback duties with Harry Robertson for England Academy, I think it was, has come in, and he's another one who's absolutely rapid, great player. But on the flip side of Harry Robertson coming into a team who are going along quite nicely, to understate it, Warrington have still got enough there to unfortunately to beat us on Saturday afternoon. As I say, I've no confidence going into this. I'm sure that the players will have, and the players will be going, yeah, we're going to go there, and we've got to spoil it. We've got to spoil the game. You can't let them have the quick ball. You can't let George Williams have the quick ball. Otherwise, he'll just rip you apart. You've got to get on the front foot as a pack, and just stay in the game. I'm going to go with it again. We've just got to stay in the game. And this is me being a complete pessimist. It's me being a complete. I've no confidence in us getting the results at the minute.
Prediction, Kev.
Warrington win. If we turn up, then we can make a game of it, and it'll be probably 6-10. If we don't, and we turn up anything like we have done in the past, I mean, we played them, they had 11 and still kept us out. If we play anything like we did on that night, then take your pick.
Yeah. Bookmakers are giving Warrington 10, or giving us 10 on the coupon, which is probably fair.
Yeah.
I'll go Warrington by 8.
Yeah. I think it's fair because they're the ones in form. They're the ones who, they're missing a couple. They are missing a couple, and a couple of good players, a couple of form players. But there's probably too much there that they can easily, if they get the quick play of the ball, if they get the quick runs, they'll could just go away from us, and it'll be over. Like the Hull KR game, where it was over before we'd even kind of got ourselves settled.
I think the important thing is we give them something to think about. And this week, Warrington away on Saturday, reserve final on Sunday against the old enemy. And then just to move swiftly on, the Redvee Raffle is still live. We're going to extend this for the next month or so, just because there's been a little bit of problems with the GoFundMe, hasn't there? If you're buying your ticket for this via the GoFundMe, when you put your name in, just write Percival or Percy at the end of your surname, and we'll know that you're going in the draw. We are keeping an eye on it. It is a money can't buy prize, this, with the special sponsor on the shirt. Match worn, Mark Percival, signed jersey. We aren't going to let this go until we've sold a certain amount of raffle tickets, because it's just too good for that. So keep buying your tickets, and we will hopefully get it drawn shortly. And that is your Redvee show this week.
Excellent.
Timed it right. We'll be back tomorrow for the instant reaction. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And forget all these in the nose. Catch you soon.